I love simplicity. In the realm of morality, there are only two kinds of people. There are criminals and non-criminals. There are those who do bad things to other people and those who don't do bad things to other people. And we all recognize what a criminal is because a criminal has no problem imposing his will onto other people without their consent. And that is the problem with government, because government functionaries will tell you that government is of, by, and for the people. And government is made up of individuals. The problem is, if one individual has no right to initiate unjust force or violence on another person, then they can't delegate that right because they don't have that right. And if you can't delegate a right that you don't have, then where do people that call themselves government get those rights to impose their will on other people without their consent? Now, in this video right here that you're going to see, this was conducted by Jan Helfeld years ago with Bernie Sanders, but don't let that throw you off because all the key elements are still in play here. Watch how Bernie Sanders plays the quintessential politician who cannot and will not answer a logic-based question with any kind of logic or reason or soundness. And this exposes a whole lot about not just Bernie Sanders, but all politicians and all workers who call themselves government agents.
Let me ask you this. Is all legitimate governmental power derived from the people?
Yep.
Did the individual citizens ever have the right to initiate physical force against other citizens that had not initiated or threatened to initiate physical force?
You keep making this point. I don't know what your political background is or what the political background of this. Let me finish, please.
Could you just answer that question?
I'm happy to answer the question.
Okay.
And I don't know really where you are coming from politically.
Let me ask you this. Why does it matter where somebody's coming from politically as a prerequisite for answering a straightforward question? The question is, do individuals ever have the right to initiate force on other individuals who haven't harmed or threatened to harm others?
But you keep coming back to the point, I presume, that every law that is passed by the federal government, state government, or local government is some kind of forceful attack on innocent people. I happen not to think so.
It really doesn't matter what anybody thinks if their thoughts contradict reality. Name a law that doesn't depend on the threat of punishment, force, or violence by agents of government if you continue to disregard their laws. Even a jaywalking or parking or speeding ticket. If you continue to disregard laws, not pay the fine, and throw tickets into the trash, they can't have that. And they'll make you obey by threatening you, arresting you, kidnapping you, and caging you. Government gets compliance through threats of force on people who simply disobeyed the commands of men called government. Even Bernie Sanders admits that this same action done by anybody else outside of government is considered criminal activity.
I happen to believe that in a civil society, in a civilized society, people come together. They elect their officials. The officials try to do well. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. They determine priorities. They raise taxes and they spend money. Your implication is that sometimes that every government in the world is somehow beseeching innocent people in a forceful and violent way. I do not accept that basic premise.
It doesn't matter if Bernie accepts this or not. It's just flat out true. That's the thing about politicians. They live to violate the freedoms of masses of people and they don't think they're doing anything wrong.
What was my question?
I answered your question.
My question was whether the individuals ever had the right to initiate physical force against other citizens that have not initiated or threatened to initiate physical force.
You seem to think...
Do you think they did or they didn't?
I think your question...
You haven't answered
frankly,
either
sir,
yes or no.
Frankly, I think your question is absurd.
Well,
your
fine.
basic,
But the viewers would like to know what you think about it.
I'm giving you the answer for the fourth time. The basic premise of your question is that all acts of government, every law that is being passed, somehow implies physical force against innocent people.
No, I haven't said that. I have not said that. That has nothing to do with the question that I asked. All I've asked you is whether the individual citizens ever had the right to initiate physical force against other citizens that have not initiated or threatened to initiate physical force.
I've answered your question 5 times.
Frankly, well, is it a yes or no?
It's an absurd... In this country, if people do not like what their towns are doing, their city government, their state government, their federal government, they unelect people. That's what freedom is about. What
Why
that
are you
has to-
unwilling to answer that question?
It's an absurd question. You are implying
Fine,
that every
but that's what
act...
people want to know. What your
No,
view
no
is
one has
on
ever
that.
asked me that question. I
Right.
must tell you. If your implication is that every piece of... Right now, as we speak, on the floor of the Congress, there is a discussion about a law. You can interpret that after that law is passed, if people choose not to obey it, they will be punished.
Is it not possible for you simply to answer the
I've
question?
asked you to answer that question as best I can.
Well, I have no idea whether it's a yes or a no.
well,
What
you-
is it?
I've answered that question as best that I can. I think it's an absurd question, and you mischaracterize the function
You
of
just
government.
refuse to answer that question.
No, I've answered it in 5 different ways. Let me ask you the question. Maybe help me clarify.
Okay,
Help me clarify
fine.
the question.
Sure.
Because I'm not quite sure
Sure.
where you're coming from. Is it your suggestion that every law that is passed by a city, state, or federal government implies an act of force against innocent people?
No. That's not my suggestion.
That's not
now
your
can you
suggestion.
answer the question
Well,
of
then you
whether...
rephrase it, yes.
The question is, did the individual citizens ever have the right to initiate physical force against other individual citizens?
I would expect that would be against the law. People do not have the right to go around beating up
That
innocent
would be
people.
wrong, right?
That would be
Okay,
wrong.
So if they never had that right, could they have delegated it to the government?
I guess they have. They have delegated the right of governments to make war. They have delegated the right of governments to build roads. They have delegated all types of rights to people. And in a civilized society, as you know, we have laws, we have judges, we have courts, we have appeal processes, and when people break the law, they are punished.
Can you delegate a right that you don't have?
I believe the American people have the right in a representative democracy to delegate power to their elected officials to do best for cities, states, and the federal government. So I guess the answer is yes.
But didn't you say before
Okay,
that they
you're in
didn't
charge.
have the right to do that?
Okay. I've got to get going. Thank you very much. What is
Well,
your background? Well, I've got to go vote right now.
Okay, I understand that you have to go vote.
Can you just ask me a question while we're on the camera?
Can we get to the bottom line?
No,
then?
I think
Let's just get to the
no,
bottom
I've-
line and wrap it up so that we can finish the show. And
Well, I think
you can
we've
go
finished
vote.
the show, and I must confess that your questioning is interesting. I've enjoyed the discussion. Not quite sure where you are coming from, but I've tried my best to answer your questions, and I thank you very much for
I'm trying to...
Well, I've got to vote, as you
okay,
can say.
I was just
One of the
trying to-
obligations of being a representative is to vote, to try to represent the people as best we can. I got an important vote. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for the interview, Congressman.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for watching.
Leave me your card, because I would like some very specific information about who you are,
Fine.
who finances the show, and where it goes.
Okay. Would you like to do the show on minimum wage?
No, I've done enough, thank you. I would like some more information as to exactly where the show is going to come, where it's, who you are, where you're coming from. I think you gave me...
Here's the deal. It will always be nearly impossible to get a man to understand the truth when his very occupation depends on him not understanding the truth. I'll leave the link to Jan Helfeld's channel in the description below. If you visit him, let him know High Impact Vlog sent you. Like and share this video with everybody you know everywhere you can on social media. It's about the only way I can overcome YouTube's censorship and suppression algorithms. And if you got something out of this video, maybe you'll enjoy these 2 videos. Take a couple minutes and see what you think. Leave your thoughts about this for the world, the Google Thought Police, and Bernie Sanders in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.